skip ahead a couple of songs now, but we're going to do them tonight at the gig in that Tortuga Gallery. We're going to do our best to play the entire album tonight. So essentially what happens now is that Demeter realises that her daughter's missing, doesn't know what has happened, because after Hades grabs her, the earth closes back over and there's absolutely no sign of what has happened. And she goes into a terrifying panic, and we have a song called The Panic. And it's very panicky to play, isn't it? Panicky to record, panicky to play, but we'll do it tonight in the interest of saving a bit of time. So she goes into this terrible panic, and then this panic transforms into a terrible grief. And her grief is so all-consuming that she can no longer do what she's there to do, which is to nurture the earth and grow the grain and be the golden mummy. And so the earth begins to reflect the grief of the great goddess Demeter, and begins to dry up, and the crops begin to fail, and it becomes famine and loss. And Demeter begins a great journey seeking her daughter and asking mortals and gods, have you seen my daughter? And later on in the story, Hecate declares, well, I don't know what happens, but I heard something happen. She uses her intuitive instincts. I know something has happened, but I don't know what. You should go and ask Helios, the sun, because he knows everything. And so Demeter begins this long journey. And as she journeys, the earth continues to dry and shrivel up, and there's great loss and death, and a dramatic change from the golden goddess of the grain. His wife and lover, or whether he abducts her and rapes her. Remember where this myth comes from, the era that this comes from, and also the translations. A lot of the poems that we know from this myth come out of the 1800s, and the language is biased again towards this patriarchal era. In my telling of the myth, I see that the abduction definitely took place. She definitely didn't know what was happening, but that Hades really represents the energy of darkness itself. He's a symbolic energy as well as a literal kind of human god energy. And so in my telling and my understanding and journeying with this myth, Hades takes her down and then helps Persephone, as she's to become, to integrate the deep wisdom of the darkness. So I see it as it becomes a very willing integration. But at this point, she's simply a freaked out maiden who's been taken into the underworld. So I'll do a tiny taste. It simply goes like this. What is this? Where am I? Who's stolen the sun from the sky? Eyes of blind, hollow sounds, strange echoes of underground, in heart, all alone, lost fingers on weeping stones. You get the idea. She's finding a way. By the end of the song, she's eyes awake, find the way, brighter night, darker day, because she's not a twit. She's an intelligent goddess, young girl who is using her wits to find her way and becoming accustomed to the deep and very strange world of the underworld. So we spent 6 hours underground getting footage from this, and I just happened to be a tourist walking through Carlsbad's Taverns, fully done up in a beautiful black gown and full makeup. And we got some amazing footage, so you can see it on my YouTube channel. It's up there, and it's actually on the front page of my website now. So then what happens is Hades, we meet Hades, and Tim actually created the song for this album, my husband Tim here, a dark electronic trance that's impossible for us to do. And it has one of an amazing singer from Australia whose name is Michelangelo, and he is kind of known as sometimes he's known as the king of the crooners, sometimes he's known as the Baltic Elvis. He's got a great quiff, he's magnificent. And so he sings this alluring song, this dark trance, Persephone, Persephone, Persephone. It's very sexy.
And then Hecate comes along, and during the Hades track, really what he's doing is offering her the fruit of the pomegranate. And the pomegranate, this magnificent fruit with 1,000,000 seeds, ruby red seeds, and when you open the pomegranate, it bleeds blood red juice. It's incredible. So this gorgeous symbol of fertility. And he doesn't offer her a banquet. He's not saying, fill your belly, you must be hungry after that abduction. He says, come and eat some of this sacred fruit, this fruit of the underworld that's still associated with death in Greece. And so during this song, you can picture him wooing her to eat this sacred fruit. And then Hecate comes along, in my telling of it, and does a chant that I think is central to the theme of the album. Well, just imagine that there's strange insects in the underworld, this weird hum that we're hearing behind you. Yes. That's why I play the drum is. Hecate sings this song. We'll do the chant together, the whispers together, and then I'll go into the Greek. Out of the fruit, the seed, out of the seed, the flower, out of the flower, the fruit, holding the seed. Out of the fruit, the seed, out of the seed, the flower, out of the flower, the fruit, holding the seed. Apokarpos, osporos, aposporos, oenthos, apoenthos, karpos. Apokarpo, osporos, aposporo, oenthos, apoantho, karpos. Out of the fruit, the seed, out of the seed, the flower, out of the flower, the fruit, holding the seed. And so, I think that when she consciously eats that seed, that's the point she becomes Persephone. She says, I will make this my home, I will eat the food of this land. And I see it as this amazing awakening when she eats this. She eats a very prescribed, she doesn't just gobble up the whole pomegranate. Some versions say she eats 6. Oh, we've got to get some tape on this guy. Some versions say she eats 6, some versions say she eats 3 seeds, some 4. This matters quite a bit later on, but whatever the case, she eats a certain amount, a very small amount of seeds, and is awakened to the great mystery of the underworld and all its gifts and things like sex. And so this song is called Ruby Seed. It has some beautiful vocal parts on the record, especially by one of the girls from Melbourne called Natalie Moon, who you should just check out in her own right. She's amazing. But she does beautiful high vocals. I'll try to imitate